Good morning, students. Welcome back to the class. Today's date is 4th June 2020. So we have been doing the lesson 2, our art, the second part, right? Now let's do a quick recap of our previous class. So we have come to know in our previous class about oceanographer. So oceanographer studies the plants and animals' life under the sea along with the movement of the ocean water. Then there are 4 directions: north, south, east and west. The earth has 2 poles, right? North pole and the south pole. The axis of the earth passes through these poles. The horizontal and the vertical lines are placed at regular intervals are called latitudes and longitudes, and they are measured in degree. Then we have got the equator, right? So what is equator? Equator divides the earth into 2 horizontal halves, northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. Then we have got the prime meridian, which divides the earth into 2 vertical halves, eastern hemisphere and the western hemisphere. And then the coordinates of a place mark the point where a latitude and a longitude cross one another. Now today we will be discussing about oceans and continents and oceans. So this is going to be a very interesting class. Let's begin. So what are continents? Continents are the very large land masses on the earth. How many continents are there? There are 7 continents. So continents, India is a country, right? So there are lots of countries surrounding India. So together they are a big landmass, and this big landmass together forms the Asia, the continent, one continent, Asia, right? You are very familiar with the word Asia. So this is, we live in a continent Asia together, right? With our neighboring countries. Now this is called a continent. Now we have got 7 continents. The whole earth has 7 continents. We are going to read one by one from larger to the smaller. Now let's move towards the next slide. If you are looking here, this is the first continent, which is Asia. That means Asia is the largest continent out of the 7. So as you're looking on the screen, you can see there are colorful parts, right? So these are the countries. These are the different countries which together makes one continent called Asia. Clear? So the colorful countries are, colorful part are the countries which together makes one continent which is called Asia. Now let's move towards the next one, which is Africa. Now Africa is the second largest continent. Even here also you can see there are colorful parts, right? So these are the countries which together they become Africa. Then we move towards the North America. So you can see on the screen the map of the North America continent. Then we have the continent South America. Here also in the similar way the colored parts are the countries which together forms the South America. Then we have the Antarctica. So Antarctica is a continent which is at the South Pole, right? So I'm zooming it here. If you see here, yes. So I have put a picture here. So if you see here, I have been lining it. So this is the continent Antarctica, right? So where do you see this continent is? It is in the South Pole, that is at the bottom of the earth. So and it is very white. Why it is white in color? Because the whole Antarctica is full of ice, and people do not live on Antarctica because it is located in the South Pole and it is always covered with ice, because mostly 8 months of the year are they have winter. They have 8 months in a year winter in Antarctica, and it is freezing cold there. So it is very difficult for people to reside. Now let's move towards the next continent, which is Europe. So as you can see here, in the similar way, the color parts together they form the continent Europe. And the last one is the Australia. So Australia is the smallest continent. So you are going to remember this, the numbering of the continents, in which position they are in. So the largest is the Asia, and the smallest is the Australia, and the second largest is the Africa. So this is what the continents are. The 7 continents are about. Now let's move. Now we come to the oceans. So oceans are extremely large bodies of salty water that cover 3/4 of the Earth's surface. So oceans are larger than the continents. They cover more parts of the Earth than the continents. Now, as you can see on the screen, so I'm going to explain you what are 3/4. So in the screen there is a circle, right? And the circle has been divided into 4 parts. Yes. So then again the circle has 3 green colors. 3 parts have been colored green and 1 part has been colored as orange, right? That means that the out of the 4 parts, only the orange part is considered the landmass. The other 3, the 3 green parts are covered with ocean. So this is what the whole planet has been divided into. That is, the 3 parts are covered with, the 3 part of the earth is covered with water, and only the orange part is covered with land masses. This is called the 3/4 of the earth's surface. Now they are the biggest source of water on the earth. The oceans are the biggest source of water. But can we drink ocean water? No. Though it is biggest source of water, as it is salty, so we cannot drink ocean water. The oceans separate some of the continents from each other. The 5 oceans of the world, from the largest to the smallest, are as follows. Now we are going to study the oceans from largest to the smallest. So which is the largest? The Pacific Ocean is the largest. So it covers nearly 1/3 of the earth's surface. 1/3 means out of 3 part, the circle is covered with 3 part, right? So 3 part, 2 part is covered with earth's surface and 1 part is covered with only Pacific Ocean. It covers nearly 1/3 of the earth's surface. The deepest point in the world's oceans, Challenger Deep, is located in the Mariana Trench in the Pacific Ocean. The Mariana Trench is located in Japan. So there are lots of information in this paragraph. So you have to study very well. Next we come to the Atlantic Ocean. So Atlantic Ocean covers nearly 1/5 of the Earth's surface. The Indian Ocean. It is the only ocean to be named after a country, which is India, that is our country. Next we have the Southern Ocean. The Southern Ocean is also called the Antarctic Ocean, and it is the ocean that surrounds the Antarctica. So the continent Antarctica is surrounded by the Southern Ocean, or you can say the Antarctic Ocean. The last is the Arctic Ocean, and it is located in the northern hemisphere. And which is the northern hemisphere? Yes, the upper part is the northern hemisphere, and mostly in the North Polar region. It is the shallowest of the world's oceans. So these are the 5 oceans of the world. The largest is the Pacific and the smallest is the Arctic Ocean. Now let's move towards the picture of your book. Now you can see here, this is a map, right? Now as you can see, as you can look here, the continents are there, right? North America, South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, then Australia as well. But the Antarctic is impossible to show you because it is at the bottom. Now these are the continents, and the other parts you can see, it is the blue part is all ocean. That means you can imagine how small the landmass is altogether. Now let's move towards the next slide, which is a new one. Okay, now let's come to the new part. The Earth's appearance has been changing since its formation. We all know that, right? Inside the Earth, the temperature is very high. This has melted the rocks at the center of the earth. We live on the hard outermost rocky layer of the earth. This is called its crust. So as you can see on the screen, the upper part is the crust, and the core is showing, there is a core right in the middle. The center portion is called core, which is the hotter part of the earth, where the rocks are being melted. Now the upper part is the outer part, okay, that is the rocky layer where we live, right? This layer is cooler and harder compared to the earth's interior. So the crust is actually cooler. That's why we are able to live on the earth. So earth is cooler than the interior of the earth. The crust is made of many sections. The continents are located on these sections. So the crust includes oceans and continents, right? And these continents are not together. They are placed in different locations. So the crust is made of many sections. The continents are located on these sections. These sections of rocks were a part of one big piece, and all the continents were joined together. After many years of moving around, the continents have moved to their current positions. This is called continental drift. Now earlier, the continent, now it has been separated. Earlier, the earth was having only one singular landmass, okay? All the continents, there was only one continent. All the continents have been merged together, and it was one continent. So with the time moving, as the rocks are also melting, the interior of the earth, due to the interior of the earth, which is melting continuously, the soil is being moved, okay? That's why what has happened, due to the continuous movement of the earth's crust, or the interior of the earth, due to the continuous movement of the interior of the earth, the landmass has separated, and then it became continents, different continents. From one particular continent, it has become 7 continents which are in current position. I'm going to show you a video in the last part of my session, this class. So you please watch the video and try to understand what the continental drift is and how it happened, and it is still happening. If you can go to the Google and search for National Geography for continental drift, you can learn it in better ways. Now let's move towards the next one. Okay, as you can see, here is a picture that is given on your book, right? Yes. So here is this is the picture. The first picture shows that 225 million years ago, the earth, the landmass was like this, okay? Then after, in 150 million years ago, it has separated a lot, right? And then in 65 million years ago, it has moved more, right? And then the present day, the continents are this. So this is how the continental drift happened. The whole landmass was getting separated little by little, and what we have got is now the present continents, the 7 continents. Clear? Okay. Now let's move to the below part. The continents are always moving around very slowly. Even now, the continents are constantly moving. Most of the time, we cannot feel the effects of these movements. However, sometimes they can be felt. For example, a section of the continent of Asia moved recently. The movement caused this land to push against the rest of the continent. This caused a major earthquake in Nepal in 2015. Now, how we can feel that the interior of the earth is moving? The earthquakes. Because of the plates inside the earth, they are continuously moving, the earthquake is happening. So this is one of the example which we can feel that the earth is still moving. So This is what the continental drift is.
Students, as you can see on the screen, this is a video of continental drift. So if you are noticing, the first, the continent was a single landmass, and slowly it is being separated. As the years are forwarding, the continents, or you can say the land masses, are being separated. The distance is becoming more. So this is how the continents are being created, and this is called the continental drift. Please understand how the continental drift is happening. Here I end my video.